Although the loss against the Rams wasn't good, it was phenomenal to get Talanoa Hufanga back into the defensive lineup for the San Francisco 49ers after tearing his ACL in the middle of last season. And the fact that you're getting him back is a good sign. So Talanoa Hufanga joined KMBR to kind of update his progress, like his thoughts and working back and getting back into the game. And of course, his thoughts also on the 49ers' tough loss to the Rams and how they need to get back on track. So take a listen to Hufanga as he joins Murph and Marcus on KMBR to discuss those things right here.
Yeah, and Huff, how was the body feeling after your first game back?
Honestly, I can't be complaining at all. I feel excellent. Continue to strive and put good stuff out there on film and stuff. But for me, the body held up, and for a first game, I played more snaps than I could ever even imagine.
Oh man, well, it's great to have you back. And so, in the old days, ACLs sometimes ended careers. I mean, you're 25 years old. You're back in 10 months. What did they tell you back then when it happened? I know you were so upset and you missed. We can talk about missing the Super Bowl and all that, but is that where it's at now? Modern medicine, where you're talking about you can come back in 10 months from an ACL tear.
Yeah, well, it's crazy, and even before that, I'm 24. That's the crazy part. I'm not even 25 yet, and so I know I'm still young. I know my body's just gonna bounce back really easy. But just the type of people that I had in my corner, the training staff, the strength staff, the coaches, they made this process, really, really easy for me. And so, all I had to do was just be consistent in showing up, and I knew at the end of the day it would take care of the rest.
Yeah, and Talanoa, I know we've talked to you before about your relationship with Troy Polamalu. I know he dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. Is that somebody you reached out to over this offseason to help you recover?
Oh, most definitely. But, it's funny because, when you look at it, he had some injuries that, sat him out for seasons. But, he told me to look at the positives of the injury. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, this is the time for you to really dive down into your playbook, dive into the film, critique yourself at the highest level, and most importantly, spend time with the family. So when you can do all those things, you come back out stronger mentally and physically for sure.
Wow, truly a silver lining. You're hearing the voice of Talanoa Hufanga, our 49er Player of the Week on the UMA guest line, and he's all the way back from a November 19, 2023 injury to get him all the way back on the field on Sunday. So that's the high. So now to the game, and it's going great. You guys are up 14-0. The Rams are doing nothing offensively, and then it got weird. Huff, can you tell us about what it felt like watching that game or feeling that game slip away? And unfortunately, a couple big plays on D-backs. It wasn't you, but a couple DPIs. Yadam had a DPI, and Mooney Ward would like that play back with Tutu Atwell. So the big plays given up by the secondary, is that something that's like number one on your guys' list right now to tackle?
For us, it's a tough game. Credit to the Rams and what they did late in the game to get going. But we got to do better, and that starts with me. Whether that's something I can do in the huddle, alerts, checks, different things. So, anytime plays are made in the back end, I like to put it all on me because at the end of the day, that's my job. My job is to communicate. My job is to get guys set up and put them in the right positions because I feel like me and Fred can really run this defense, and Fred gets his guys going, and I got to get my guys going as well. So we get back in the film room. We're trying to figure everything out and detail it out so we can come back out with a strong week this week.
Yeah, and last week we saw you out on the field for the first time with Nick Sorensen calling plays. Now, I know you're familiar with Nick Sorensen, him being around the organization the past couple of years. You guys also bring in Brandon Staley to help out that defense. So how's that been playing out, especially in that defensive backfield?
Oh, they're awesome. They bring great energy, great knowledge of the game, and you got a guy like Nick that's played in the game, and Staley, the way coming from a head coach, understands so much ball. It really does help you, and it teaches you, and you're learning, and you're absorbing all this knowledge as much as you can. So for us, it's just we got to make the call come to life, and we got to put good stuff on tape. And for us, we're grateful for the opportunity. But guys like that it's amazing for sure.
Well, they're new for sure, and we'll see what happens on Sunday against New England, against Jacoby Brissett and that crew, and what kind of adjustments you guys make to those deep balls. But when you get in the huddle on Sunday, Huff, there's going to be no Javon Hargrave. And I know, he was relatively new to the team, but, Could you speak to that loss? I know it's a next man up league, but how do you guys? It's already you've lost McCaffrey, and now this. How do you guys handle this one and rally up?
Staying positive. You never want to lose anybody. I know the feeling from myself going through an injury that took me out of a whole season. And a guy like him, he brings so much, not only to the field, but off the field. I think his experience, being in the league 9+ years, I would like to say, that's a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience for sure. And so understanding that it sucks, but for us, it's like you said, it's the next man up. It's guys like Jordan Elliott. It's guys like Kevin Givens, and they get their chance to come out and play at the highest level. And so for them, it's a good opportunity, and we'll keep Javon in our prayers and our thoughts for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned playing behind Fred Warner earlier in this conversation. We actually spoke to John Lynch last week, and he said that you were the eyes of the defensive backfield, but also Fred Warner is the overall eyes and quarterback of this defense. So what it's like lining up behind an all-pro player like Fred?
It's makes my job a lot easier for sure. Fred is truly the best in the game, and I believe that through and through. Watching him, the way he prepares, the way he shows up, and the way he operates, there's nobody else like him, and that's a brother that I get to call and rely on each and every game, and it's really truly an honor to play with him. I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, they see the highlights, they see what he does on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays, but they don't see the prep that it took all off season. How diligent he is with his film study, how diligent he is with his body, his maintenance, the way he prepares and works out. It's actually unbelievable, and I love it, and I love guys like that. And that's credit to Lynch, credit to Kyle, the way they believe in him to run the defense. And for us, we just got to make the calls come to life, and it starts with him.
Plus, he turned you on to Pilates, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Most
cool.
definitely.
Hey, big picture, before I let you go, I know you guys are in the weeds. You're just looking at film for New England, but the big picture is the 49ers are 1-2. Christian McCaffrey's in Germany seeing a specialist. Hargrave's out for the year. Debo and Kittle are missed games. So there's a lot of chatter that, the Super Bowl hangover is real. Things aren't going your guys' way. How do you balance sort of getting ready for New England play-by-play versus the outside noise saying, so far the Niners it's not happening for the 49ers this summer or this spring, fall?
For us, we block out everything. Honestly, I'm not a man that's on social media and a lot of things like that. So you really just got to block it out, keep going, and keep together as a unit, for sure. And we're striving for the end goal. Being 1-2 is not the end of the world. We always do want to win. I'm not saying we're complacent with this, but I've been in spots where we're 4-4, and we ended up in the NFC Championship. So for us, it's a time for us to get going, and no excuses for that for sure. But we know what we're capable of, and when we get everything going and everybody healthy back, we'll be ready to rock.
Yeah, last question for me, Huff. I can only imagine what it was like for you having to stand on the sideline to watch the Super Bowl last year. So was that extra motivation for you since you didn't get to participate in the game last year to get back to the big game this year?
Oh, most definitely. But just to be in that experience and get to watch guys play in the biggest game of the year, it was fun in itself, and it taught me a lot. You get to learn and see how guys operate, see what the passion is like in an atmosphere like that. For me, I just, I would love that feeling again. So, that's what we're striving for, and we got to get back in there for sure.
And then wrapping up the last one is takeaways. Fred Warner mentioned after the game, you guys didn't have any on Sunday, and he said maybe that's why you lost. So is that the focus now going forward?
Definitely. Well, that's focus every week as a defense, as many as we can get, and you can't put a limit on them. You can't put the minimum is at least 3, but you can get as many as you want. So, for us, we didn't get any, and that's going back to the film room and figuring out ways to take the ball for sure.
One of the things I love about Talanoa Hufanga is his humility. He's just such a humble person, humble player. One of the things he talked about, he's like, man, I'm only 24 years old, so he still has time to get better, to improve, work on his health and his knee and things of that nature. But from a cerebral standpoint, he can still get faster and become more mentally sound than he already is, which is a phenomenal sign for the San Francisco 49ers and his continued development. Obviously, you want to see some things improve in that Rams game. He discussed some things, but I really do think it is a week-to-week scenario for these guys. They're going to look at the tape. They're going to look at where they had some lapses, and they're going to try to figure it out. Obviously, the big issue or the big real news is Javon Hargrave going down with a knee injury. Just a really, really tough situation. And because you were already super thin at that particular position, and he was your best player. He was your best interior defender who anchored that group, and now you're going to have to rely a ton on Malik Collins. It'll be interesting to see if they are kicking Yetur Gross-Matos to the inside more often. But, it's Jordan Elliott, it's Kevin Givens, and they're going to have to likely look to someone on the practice squad or look to add someone either in free agency or is currently on another team's practice squad, or even potentially go as far as a trade. So just a tough situation. But again, I think with Talanoa Hufanga back there, patrolling in the secondary, I think the 49ers will be better off. And I think with some additional time, really figuring out who that cornerback 3 is going to be. Yadam has struggled a little bit. Will it be Renardo Green? Could we potentially see Rock Ya-Sin get some run? I'm not sure. But I think the important point is that it's still very early in the season. And I know there's a lot of panic within the fan base. You're a team that's supposed to be headed back to the Super Bowl. You're not supposed to start 1-2. You're not supposed to lose to the Rams. You're not supposed to lose to the Minnesota Vikings. So there's a lot of panic in the streets right now about the 49ers moving forward. But I think, kind of the mentality that Hufanga is taking, and as I'm sure we know the team will be taking, I think they're more inclined to move off these losses than to dwell on them. So they're already probably focused on the Patriots already. They probably watched the tape. They've scrubbed it and they've taken what they could from it, and now it's time to get the Patriots going. So I would say that next week should be a game where the 49ers are, I think, as a team, just pissed off. And I hope that comes through in their play. I hope that comes through in a dominating performance against the Patriots. And as I've discussed since the Rams game, if the 49ers do lose to the Patriots, we are going to be having a much different conversation and tone, I think, to the overall, grand scheme of things than we have so far through the early losses. So we got to get right game against the Patriots. Let's see if the 49ers take care of business. Let me know what you guys thought about Talanoa Hufanga, his return, his thoughts, and where the 49ers currently stand. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.